Because we know that they know that we are very fond of the smell. So therefore you get entrapped there. You want, wow, this is so nice, so nice. And you spend a lot of money. Go to the next floor. Say restaurants.
Food.
Japanese food, American food.
Taste.
For tasting. For testing. Again, of course, you spend a lot of money there. Go to the next floor. Televisions. Something that you can see. Again, you buy television, their television, there are so many different types, you want to buy the latest one. Again, it's interesting, when it comes to this material objects, the gadgets, you always want to update it. You want to have the latest one. Because those who sell, they are so clever that they make it slightly different, with some new features. So then you think, oh, I should update these things. So the external material objects you update all the time, but you yourself never update it. The same person, 20 years back, more or less, not much updating. Anyway, so now you move to the next floor. Sound, CDs, DVDs, Japanese music, Chinese music, American music, things like that. So again you spend a lot of money there. Then you go to the next floor, touch, clothes, all kind of clothes for your body. So the mall has more or less what I've said. So that's why when you get into a mall, shopping mall, you get sick. Do you know that disease? That disease is called shopping coma. The disease is called shopping coma. Of course, you will not agree with me by saying, oh no, Geshe, you're too much, We never suffer from shopping coma. But listen to my story, how you get into this shopping coma. Okay, you enter, you're already there in the mall. You're not so, there's a lot of problems there. One, you're not so sure how much money you have, because it is in that plastic card.
Yes.
So you're not sure how much money you have, number one, that's the problem. Then second, when you enter into the mall, they've arranged everything so nicely, The display is so attractive, wow. You're already mesmerized, Wow, so nice. Now slowly you're entering into coma. These are the factors. Then that person who goes in front of you, then at the entrance normally there is a pile of baskets, Then you pick up the person who goes before you, pick up the basket, Looks like he's going to buy a lot. Then you think, oh, I also cannot go without this basket, I'm no less than anybody, You're not so sure what you're going to buy because that other person who went in front of you took that basket. You thought, right, you'd also take one. You take the basket, you also go. Now you cannot go around taking just an empty basket, other people looking at you. Then, but still you're not sure what to buy. Then you go around, then there is this very interesting advertisement saying, buy 2, 1 free. Buy 2, 1 free. Oh, that's pretty good, I don't need to, but maybe I can give this as a gift to my friend, or maybe I will use it later on, things like that. So whatever be the reason, you end up buying these things like that, So I don't want to tell you a long story. So in this way, you end up buying a lot of things, not sure how much money you are spending. You give the plastic card, they'll of course easily take away your money from there. Then you go. Then you put it in your car, you go home. Then when you unpack in your home, then you come back to senses. When you are in the shop, you are in the shopping coma. You are not so sure what you are buying, what was needed, what was not needed. But when you unpack everything, then you start scratching your head.
Yes.
My goodness, why did I buy this? I already have this in the cupboard. See, you can easily This story of shopping coma I read on a flight in a magazine. You see, I read some interesting articles. But then later on I was reading probably this same text. I was reading this text. I found the same word in this traditional text. In Tibetan it's called Tomzi. The second Tibetan word you are going to learn. Tomzi. Tomzi. Tom means market. Z means intoxicated. Intoxication in the market.
It's human.
Yeah, it's human. Yeah, like in ancient times also when whatever they are selling, not very attractive commodities, they may be selling cows, horses, whatever, But when so many people come together, you get a little bit different, you see. So that's the thing. So therefore, because we run after all these sensual objects, see, because of this attraction to the sensual objects, we don't get time to reflect, meditate, and give opportunity to the mind, which is the most important thing. So the mind hardly gets any opportunity to do good, because you end up serving the dictates of the five senses. So that's why meditation means go within, involve the mind, the most important mind, the mind which is going to go to the next world. The senses are not going to go to the next world. The sense consciousness is also not going to go to the next world, because they are dependent on the senses, and senses are physical, material reality. So when you die, they disappear. So what goes into the next world is the mind. So therefore right now when you are alive, you should do your practice in such a way that you form a habit on this mind. You make an impact on this mind. When your mind is habituated, when your mind is trained, then in the dream also you get those good experiences. In the rest of life you get those good experiences. In the future lives also you get those good experiences. So that's the point. If you don't involve your mind in your practice, then that is not a very powerful, beneficial practice. It may be a feel-good practice. Okay? Feel-good practice. Then I'm not reading everything, but few relevant parts from here. Then he tells he gives another example. The storehouse of a rich man is the example. Storehouse of a rich man. If you visit a store of a rich person, wealthy person, then he has collected so many items in the store that even when you look at one item, it looks like he has collected all the items in this kind of category. He has all the kinds of jewelry, all the kinds of gold, all kinds of silver, all kinds of diamond. Even in one particular item he is very rich. So his store is full of all kinds of items. Looks like nothing is missing there, so rich. Similarly, if we look within ourselves, we are so rich with all these etheric emotions. Within ourselves, it says that we are also, our mind is also like that store of the rich person, full of afflictive emotions. If you look at anger, all kinds of anger there. If you look at attachment, all kinds of attachments are there. Like a store. So therefore, now what these negative emotions are going to do, you know very well. So therefore, since you have so many negative emotions, it's important to be very careful. To be very careful is the next teaching. For example, if there is a big conflict or fight going on, Then because of this fight, you have security personnel or police at the border, okay, who would always be on alert and watching what is happening. So the border will be watched by people one after another. Say one person is there for 3 hours, then as soon as that duty finishes, another person comes. So it will be continuous guarding. Continuous guarding. So in our mind also, if we look at our state of mind, it really looks like that there hardly is a time when these negative emotions are not there. When anger goes, attachment comes. Attachment goes, hatred comes. Hatred goes, laziness comes. Laziness goes, another. So like those security guards, security personnels, the negative emotions are coming all the time because your improper way of thinking is there, the external situations are there. So it's very easy to have these afflictive emotions. So despite you are working very hard to deal with these negative emotions, they seem to be coming continuously. So it's not an easy job. So just like these negative emotions are coming, like the change of the guards, so similarly you should also develop the positive counter forces, like the change of the guards, one after another. The antidote should be there continuously, okay, so that you are able to do away with these afflictive emotions. Then he says, the cliff or abyss. Abyss or abyss? A-B-Y-S-S.
Abyss.
Abyss, yeah, abyss. So abyss, the cliff, the abyss near your doorstep. That's the example. The abyss near your doorstep. That means those of us who engage in practice, then we talk about the Lhakdor practice, the stages of path meditation practice. We talk about liberation, we talk about nirvana, so many good things. How to obtain a precious human life, things like that. Okay? So he says that is good, but be careful. It's like talking about, how to reach America, how to fly from the aeroplane, all those preparations you do, but you are not you're careful about the abyss near your doorstep. If there is a cliff, dangerous cliff, if there is a dangerous cliff or abyss near your doorstep, first you should be careful about it. If you're not careful, forget about traveling, making the long journey, you will just fall there and die. So therefore, you need to talk about all those greater stages of the path. But first, one thing that you need to do is, you should be careful. Carefulness must be there right now, whatever you are doing, before you talk about the big things. And I remember very well when we received monk's ordination, then the Lama gives that Lama gives that ordination and all the necessary instructions, and then finally the parting advice is that now you have received this ordination in this Buddhist tradition, so therefore be careful. That's the parting advice. Be cautious, be careful. So I think that is enough for the reading from this book. Do we have some questions now? Some questions? Yeah.
We're talking about
Where is the microphone. Now everybody knows how to hold the microphone. You all got the training, see? Very special training.
Yeah. You were talking about the mall,
Yeah.
how shopping,
Yeah.
and I think how difficult it is in our Western society, all this, where so many things. And yesterday you were talking about taking care of ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think about what is the inner guide to put the limits, how much is enough, and how to take care of myself.
That's I said this morning by quoting Mahatma Gandhi. There's enough for everybody's need, not enough for everybody's greed. So you may have already enough to fulfill your basic need. The rest is a little bit to do with greed. You see? Let me give you an example. One of my another favorite topic for giving talks. I do this with myself also. Simple things. You go back to your room and see how many pairs of shoes you have. Simple things like that. Then also see how many legs you have. I mean, these are simple things, common sense things. Of course, you have only 2 legs, but I'm sure you have many. Because I read in the newspaper some politicians and some others, they such and such person had 250 pairs of shoes. Yeah. It became a scandal, People who engage in corruption, then all the interesting shoes of different size, they start collecting. And they are people, strange people, you see. So anyway, we may not have so many shoes, but at least you will have a lot. It depends on which country you are. If you are more affluent country, the more shoes you have. So these varieties of shoes that you are keeping is not necessarily because of your need, but because of your, not just greed. Greed is one thing, greed and also ignorance, Ignorance fuels the greed. Then also, as I said, external condition. Because the television advertisement says, you should definitely have one shoes for jogging, and should definitely have another one for mountain climbing, and should have another one when you go to the bathroom, otherwise you will slip and fall, you see, and another one for your sports, you see. So we are very gullible. I mean, again, I am not trying to be cynical. Some of this advertisement may have some meaning also, but that you have to judge. And much of this advertisement is 100% sure is only to sell the product. Because, in every country you go, for example, they say, oh, you use this face cream, overnight you will become like white, And then people keep on using nothing there. Many products like that, you see. So this is only for selling the things. But sometimes when I see this, I can't help thinking that how many stupid people are there, believing these advertisements. Sometimes I feel like that. So therefore, what I'm saying is, if you see carefully, then you will find that there are really a lot of things which you have accumulated over the years, but which you have not used over the years, for so many years. Now you can see carefully what is the benefit. There's no benefit. One, the disadvantage is one, you have already spent a lot of money. You could have saved that money. Number two, you have not used it. And number three, because you have all of these things with you, you are not finding enough place to put those things, you see. So on certain occasions when you really want to wear the nice shoes, you are not even able to find it. Oh, where did I keep it? So many things, you piled up. Yeah.
But like the flowers here,
Yeah. Yeah.
when you are in aesthetic environment,
Yeah.
you sometimes feel better.
Yeah.
You can give more,
Yeah.
like the golden Buddha and the Gompa. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a question. What can give you inspiration or a more good feeling to help others?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why I was saying when the question of the image was asked, I answered. Then we need to do so many of these things because people's need. People are not enlightened, Their mind is more or less small innocent child, They need a little bit something to eat, a little bit comfortable seat to sit, and some nice things. Because for the time being they are like small babies, they can only appreciate the external beauties, you see. So therefore it's a good way of encouraging people, you see. But then the main idea is not to get confused with all the rest of your life thinking about the flower, looking at the flower. That will not solve the problem, you see. So the main thing is that you give an environment, and then the main thing that you do is let people think and change their way of thinking or attitude and perspective. So that is the problem. So I'm not saying that do away with everything, I'm not saying that. Yeah.
Try to be not too emotional. This is about shoes. What about children?
About what?
Children.
Yeah, what?
If I want another baby,
Yeah.
it's like a greediness. It's like it's my need. If I say, I have one already,
Yeah,
and if I want another one,
yeah.
so it's for my own sake. It's my greediness.
First you need to understand that we are not all Buddhas. We are living on ordinary life. So there is an ordinary norm. There is an ordinary norm, ordinary way of life, which the Buddha is not discouraging. Even Buddha had a son. Before he was enlightened, he had a son also. Okay? So having son or a daughter, we are not saying that, oh, you people who are married, having sons and children, you are bad, we the monks are good, We are not saying that. Okay? We are not saying that. So what we are saying is that in the case of having babies, you cannot just stop it saying that this is greed, For example, eating food, some element of greed may be there. But we are saying that if you reduce your greed, it will be much better. So similarly, in the case of having children also, the most important thing is one is to see that whether, you can look after them properly or not.
Yes.
That's the main issue. Okay? If you are able to look after them, then you are giving a new life. You see? And there is a very beautiful story which you will like very much, I am sure. Asanga and Vasubandhu, you may or may not have heard, two very famous Buddhist teachers, brothers. So the mother, because in those days in the Indian culture, women are a little bit left behind, things like that. They cannot be so active in the Dharma as the men are. So she said, now I am born as a woman, so I may not be able to play a very active part in, supporting the Dharma. So therefore I will marry and produce children. I will marry and produce children and encourage them to do Dharma practice and become great teachers. And therefore she married two different people and produced two children who become later great Buddhist teachers, Asanga and Vasubandhu. So like that, you see. So it's how you do things. It's dependent upon how you think. So most important thing is be practical and see whether in terms of your income and so many other things, whether you can look after your children or not. Then after that, if you like children, you have every right to produce children, and having produced children, look after them, give them good education, giving life, you see. Giving life is a good thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Also about my children, I have a daughter who is 20.
Concerning my daughter, she's 24 years. She's a student of marketing and management. And yesterday, she's very materialistic, and we are not similar at all. And for example, yesterday night, I sat with her and we speak. And I told her about this seminar, so she started to laugh. Such, I don't understand you. Why are you going to it? This is not life. The gap is so big, and sometimes I'm worried because you spoke about the shoes. She has, I think, under her bed 60 pairs, and I try to make her close to my world, my spiritual world, and it's a waste of time.
It is a waste of time. It is a waste of time. So that's why I'm saying. Never force other people. Don't force other people. Gently give them opportunity. Then if it is something that they don't like, don't force. So I have a tactic. You try that tactic. Instead of saying, oh, I attended this workshop, the workshop was so good, this teacher was so good, the teaching was so good, and if you do that, you will also become different, you will be so... They will not listen because, as I giving you the example, this giving water to the horse. You see, not only it will drink water, but even the little bit water you throw away, you see. So it will not listen. So sometimes my tactic is, instead of asking people to read books, things like that, you buy an interesting, easily readable Buddhist book. Never ask him or her to read it. Just you read that, laugh and smile. So wonderful. And then other people are watching you, But you are not asking them to read. Then you leave that on the book table. Don't ask them to read. Human beings are like monkeys. They are very fond of imitating, you see. When you are away, when you are there, probably, because she already said, oh, what is this? This is not live, she may not. But when you are away, she might look. So there are tactics like that, So it is time, and then also sometimes, unfortunately or fortunately, people, right now when everything is going well, they think, okay, this is life, you just do hi, he, who, and things like that. But as soon as they encounter a tragedy, which everybody is going to encounter, it may be sickness, it may be death, it may be, divorce, it may be, so many things are there. Then at that time, they will not know how to handle that. Then at that time, there is a great opportunity that on the one hand you show your love and affection, then gently tell, look, on such occasions you need to think like this.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, good news. So you all understand good news means?
Yes.
Not only break, lunch.